In this video, we're breaking down why men stop listening the moment they're told what to do, why ego, pride, and past experiences turn simple direction into a power struggle, and how that one reaction is costing men opportunities, respect, and control over their own life. You were calm, chillin, locked in. You were about to handle your business, clean up, go to work, go to your room, sit in your zone, whatever. Then someone tells you to do it, and just like that, something shifts. Now you're irritated. Now you're dragging your feet on purpose. Now you're looking at them like they just crossed the line over something you were already about to do. Why? Because for a lot of men, it's not the task, it's what the task feels like. The second it stops feeling like your choice and starts feeling like control, your system reads it as pressure, as dominance, as disrespect. So now it's not about the gym, it's not about work, it's not about doing the right thing. Now it's about being in control of yourself. That's why you won't move when you're told what to do, even if you were already moving. That's why calm down makes you want to do the opposite. That's why you can hear solid game from a mentor, a big homie, a counselor, an unk, and still reject it not because it's wrong, but because it feels like direction. It's deeper than attitude. It's identity. It's control. It's a lifetime of feeling like someone's trying to run you instead of respect you. And until you learn the difference between being guided and being controlled, you'll keep fighting the very things that could level you up. Sometimes it's pride. Sometimes it's trauma. Sometimes it's anxiety. Sometimes it's the fact that being controlled has always been tied to humiliation, punishment, or betrayal. So when someone gives direction, he doesn't hear guidance. He hears, "You don't run your life. You're not capable. You move when I say move." And that's when the wall goes up. That's when he stops hearing wisdom and starts fighting for control. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the whole lesson. Because if someone telling you what to do can instantly throw you off, then they are controlling more than your behavior. They're controlling your state of mind. And that means the real prison is not always the environment. Sometimes it's the part of you that gets emotionally hijacked every time your ego gets touched. It's the most dangerous prison a man can live in. The prison of the mind. There are different types of resistance. Some men are freedom fighters. You tell them to sit down, now they want to stand. You tell them to move, now they freeze. You tell them to level up, now they avoid it. Not because it's wrong, but because being told feels like losing power. In the streets, this is the man who won't take good advice just to prove nobody can tell him anything. He'll lose money, burn relationships, miss opportunities, even catch charges just to protect his pride. That's not strength. That's slavery to ego. A lot of men think freedom is doing whatever they want, but that's bullshit. Stoicism says freedom is having so much control over yourself that no man, no woman, and no set of circumstances, nothing and nobody can bait you out of your purpose. Then you've got the logic seekers. These men don't reject authority just to rebel. They reject incompetent authority. They want to know why. They want context. They want to understand the move. And truthfully, sometimes they're not wrong. Because a man who has lived through chaos, broken systems, fake-ass leadership is going to question direction. So when he resists, what he's really saying is, prove to me this makes sense. Prove to me you know what you're doing. Prove to me you respect me. Seneca said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." That includes the people giving you direction. Because not every instruction is control. Sometimes it's guidance. Sometimes it's someone trying to help you stay on track. Sometimes it's someone trying to keep you from making a mistake they've already seen 100 times. Even in structure, even in correction, there can be care behind it. But if you hear everything as disrespect, you'll miss the message. You'll turn guidance into a power struggle. Then there's the man who shuts down under pressure. From the outside, people call him lazy, difficult, unmotivated. But internally, the more pressure he feels, the less access he has to himself. The task becomes a threat. The expectation becomes weight. The moment becomes overwhelming. That's why a man can say he wants to change, then freeze when it's time to act. It's not always defiance. Sometimes it's overload. But here's the truth. Even if the reason is trauma, you still have to learn control. Street Stoic truth. Not all direction is control. Some of it is protection. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Meaning, the same shit that triggers you is the exact same place you need discipline. Here's where shit gets real. If being told what to do instantly makes you reactive, you are not in control. You are programmable. A man who knows your triggers can control you. A rival can bait you. A toxic girlfriend can pull you off your path. Authority can escalate you. Anyone can push your buttons and predict your reaction. That's not power. That's vulnerability, and not the healthy kind. Street Stoic truth. A man who must resist every command is still being commanded. You think you're in control, but if your reaction is automatic, you're still letting the outside world decide your behavior. Real power is the pause. Is this worth reacting to? Is this useful? Is this disrespect? Or just direction? Or am I about to sabotage myself just to protect my ego? This is where men really lose. They make the moment bigger than the mission. You didn't go to work because of tone, missed opportunity because of pride, lost respect because they needed the last word, caught charges because they couldn't regulate, all because they couldn't handle being told something. And now what? Now life moves backward. You are locked up, dead to the world, while life goes on without you, because ego couldn't survive one moment. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." And sometimes bravery is not reacting. Sometimes bravery is discipline. Sometimes it's saying, I don't like how that was said, but I'm not going to destroy my future over that shit. And for the men listening, the men stuck in the back of the zone, the men stuck in the trap, stop giving in to weakness. If you notice you instantly resist direction, ask yourself, am I protecting my dignity or am I addicted to drama? Am I thinking or just reacting? Am I standing on business or crashing out because my ego got touched? Because the truth is, the world is full of grown-ass men who can't be told anything, and most of them aren't leaders. They're just undisciplined. A real man can take correction without collapsing. A real man can listen without feeling small or being all in their feelings about it. A real man knows when to challenge authority and when to master himself. Be a man with the mental clarity to know the difference. Epictetus said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." So if you think nobody can teach you shit, you'll stay exactly where you are, while life goes on without you, and the world leaves you behind. I'm not saying that every order deserves obedience, but not every correction is control either. Sometimes the problem isn't the instruction. Sometimes it's the wound inside you that hears guidance as domination. And until you fix that, you'll keep fighting the wrong enemy. Because the real enemy is the part of you that would rather lose progress than feel directed. That part has to die. Because in life, the man who cannot govern himself will always be governed by someone or something else. Most men run from their darkness. Street Stoics face it. Not just the pain, but the ego, the reactions, the part of you that resists, defies, and sabotages your own progress. This path isn't easy. It's not comfortable. It's not popular. Because it forces you to take responsibility for the one thing most men avoid, themselves. And it's not for everyone, but for the few who are built for it, it becomes a code, a mindset, a standard, a brotherhood, a movement. So if something in this message woke something up in you, if you felt that shift, then you already know you're one of us. Join the Street Stoic Army. Tap in, subscribe, because we're not just talking about discipline. We're building men who can't be shaken, can't be baited, and can't be controlled. And remember, the loudest man in the room isn't the strongest. The most feared man isn't the strongest. The richest man isn't the strongest. The strongest man is the one who has mastered himself. Stay disciplined, stay dangerous, stay Street Stoic.